A note here, Pat, from our webmaster sent out, he's kind of tracking what people are searching for on our website, the specific races, what they're following. And in the top four, along with the governor's race and Amendment 1, is the wine referendum, no doubt, on 78 municipal ballots, I believe. And we want to give you the very latest here in Nashville and Davidson County. An overwhelming majority of people would like to see wine sold in grocery stores. And this is what legislators said they would do, take it to the people.
And they did, and at this point, obviously, it's passing with 79% of the precincts reported in Davidson County. It's passing with almost 80% of the vote.
Just about everywhere else that I've seen coming up so far, it's passing as well with a lot of support.
Consumer convenience and consumer choice is one of the strongest driving forces in the American economy, and this is clearly what people want to be having, that convenience to be able to go to the grocery store and pick up the wine. Now, that's the good news. It's passed tonight for them. The bad news is they'll have to wait to 2016 till they can actually do that.
That's right. This was pushed by a group called Red, White, and Food. They are gathered at the Renaissance Hotel in downtown Nashville, and that is where our Emily Luxon is standing by. Emily, probably a pretty good mood there.
Yeah, people here are certainly feeling very optimistic as this night has gone on. As you mentioned, the early numbers coming in show strong support for the sale of wine in grocery stores. Joining me now, Melissa Eads, a spokesperson for Kroger. How have you been feeling as you've been watching these numbers come in?
Well, it's been really exciting to see the results come in, and so far everything looks great, and we're just thrilled that it looks like after 7 years of hard work that we're going to be able to sell wine in our stores.
Talk a little bit about what this means for the state overall. You mentioned this has been the result of a lot of hard work on your part, but what this means big picture for Tennessee to see this change.
Well, I think it's certainly what our customers have asked us for years. They want to know why they can't buy wine where they shop for groceries, and it's certainly something that the majority of Tennesseans have said in numerous polls that they want, so we're glad to see this finally come to fruition. And it's taken a lot of hard work by a lot of people, but certainly this was a referendum bill, so it put it in the hands of the people, and they spoke by signing that referendum, and they spoke by showing up at the polls either through early voting or today on election day, and just thrilled with the results.
If it passes, describe what happens next as far as when the wine will be available or what the next steps will be.
Well, as it stands now, it'll be July of 2016 before we can sell wine in our stores, but we will be working in the meantime to prepare for that and be ready when that day comes.
Wonderful. Melissa, thank you so much for your time. And again, we'll continue to keep an eye on those numbers. More will be coming in throughout the night, but early numbers show strong support for the sale of wine in grocery stores. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Emily Luxon live at the Renaissance Hotel. Thanks so much. And again, as we talked about consumer convenience, you just mentioned, Pat, and also there was no visible opposition to this.
No, there was not. There obviously were people within the liquor industry who didn't like the idea of this change that was coming, and they were on TV occasionally talking about it, but there was no organized effort to raise money or spend money to tell people not to vote for this. And I think across the state, you see that pretty strongly reflected. Now, again,
they got something out of this as well, though. They were able to expand inventory and
they
do
can sell
it now.
some things they're able to sell those. They're able to sell beer and some other things they couldn't do before, and this hopefully will cushion them for the change that's coming, because obviously they're going to have to share some market that before they had pretty much exclusive rights to it. It'll be interesting to see. The Red, White, and Food people say they're not using this big vote. They're going to get big votes. Look at that vote here in Davidson County, 80%, to say to lawmakers, hey, look, do we really have to wait to 2016? They say they're not going to do that. Maybe they won't need to do that. I think the lawmakers will see that, and perhaps we'll see some more conversation about whether 2016.
In this coming legislative session?
Well, we'll see. The legislature's got an awful lot on their plate this time, whether this comes back up again or not. And, the lawmakers may actually like to have a year where they don't have to worry about wine in grocery stores, because it's been up there now for 10 years, every year in committee someplace. So maybe they don't want to have that fight again one more time, but maybe you'll see some move towards saying, well, do we want to look at that? Now,